Have you ever been stuck wondering when you should say I watched versus I was watching? Well, today we're going to clear that up once and for all.
In this explainer, you're going to learn the exact difference between the past simple and the past continuous. We'll look at clear rules and tons of examples. So let's dive right in.
First up, let's talk about the past simple. Think of it this way. Its main job is to talk about actions that are completely finished. So the core idea here is really simple. The past simple describes an action that started in the past and ended in the past. It's done. The structure is super easy too. It's just the subject plus the past form of the verb.
So here's its most common use. Talking about a finished action that happened at a specific time. For example, I watched a movie yesterday. The action, watching the movie, is completely over.
The past simple is also perfect for showing a sequence of events, like when you're telling a story. For instance, I woke up, had breakfast, and went to work. See how that works? Each action is finished before the next one starts. One, then the next, then the next.
And finally, we can use the past simple to talk about a habit, something you did over and over again in the past. Like, when I was 10, I played football every day. This was a habit you used to have, but you don't do it anymore.
Okay, let's switch gears and look at our second tense, the past continuous. Now this one is all about ongoing actions. So what does the past continuous do? Well, it describes an action that was in progress at a specific moment in the past. It wasn't finished yet. To make it, you just use the subject, then was or were, and then a verb with ing at the end.
The timing here is absolutely key. If I say, at 7 p.m. I was eating dinner, it means that at that exact moment, the action of eating was happening. It wasn't finished yet. I was in the middle of it.
Now this next one is probably the most important use you need to know. We use the past continuous for a longer background action that gets interrupted by a shorter action. Check out this example. She was cooking when the phone rang.
Let's break that down. She was cooking. That's the long ongoing action, right? So we use the past continuous. And then bam, the phone rang. That's the short, quick action that interrupted her. So for that, we use the past simple.
You can also use the past continuous to set the scene when you're telling a story, almost like you're painting a picture. For example, the sun was shining, the birds were singing. These things were all happening at the same time, creating the atmosphere.
Okay, now for the fun part. Let's put these two tenses right next to each other to make the difference crystal clear.
So look at this. With the past simple, you'd say, I watched TV last night. It's a completed action. Done, finished. But with past continuous, you'd say, I was watching TV at 9 p.m. You see the difference? You're focusing on an action that was in progress at a very specific moment.
And let's look at that interruption rule one more time because it is just so important. In this sentence, I was driving when I saw an accident. The driving is the long background action. It was happening for a while. Seeing the accident, that was the short interrupting moment. Here's another key difference. What if two long actions are happening at the same time? Easy. You use the past continuous for both. I was studying while he was cooking. But for two short actions happening one after another, you use the past simple for both. I opened the door and entered the room.
All right, knowing the rules is one thing, but seeing the common mistakes, that can be even more helpful. So let's look at what not to do.
Okay, a super common mistake is using past continuous for a short, sudden action. You wouldn't say, I was dropping the phone, would you? The action is instant, so the correct way is, I dropped the phone. And on the flip side, for a background action, don't use the past simple. The incorrect sentence is, I cooked when he came. The right way is, I was cooking when he came, because cooking is the long action. So here it is, the one key rule to remember. If you forget everything else, just remember this. Long background action, that's your past continuous. Short, interrupting action, that's your past simple. That's the core of it right there.
Okay, think you've got it?
Let's put that knowledge to the test with a quick quiz. Here's the first question. Fill in the blank. I watch a movie when the phone rang. So, what's the right form for the verb watch? Think about it. Which one is the long action?
And the answer is was watching. I was watching a movie is the long background action that got interrupted by the phone ringing. Awesome job if you got that one right.
All right, one last question, and this one has two parts. I drive when I see the sign. How would you fill in those blanks?
The correct answer is, I was driving when I saw the sign. See? Was driving is our long, ongoing action, and saw is the short, quick interruption. And just like that, you've got it. Keep that key rule in mind, and you'll know exactly when to use past simple and past continuous. Great work today.